A very good evening to all the senior faculties and all the delegates. So today we are in our day 4 on Essentials of Clinical Mycology workshop. So the topic of today's discussion would be on designing data collection methods. So this is my outline. Like we would be dealing with different modes of data collection. And so in that, we would be choosing a paperless data collection method, which is a Kobo collect. I hope few of you would have been aware or must have heard about this data collection method. And under that, we would be dealing with the features of form builder, how to collect data, and it has an inbuilt function of analyzing and managing data, and then the conclusion. So as we all know, data collection is one of the heart of a research. So whatever we have dealt with the protocol and our designing study methods, we need to execute it, and that comes with a flawless data collection. So previously, what we all had been known of is about the offline method, where we used to go with the printouts and also with the different questionnaires, which is a paper-based method. Few of us would have even experienced a face-to-face interview and even telephonic interviews. And with the growing use of advanced informations and technology, we have an online-based data collection methods where we use mails and our WhatsApp and various other sources for collecting data. So one such of it is Kobo. It is a Kobo collect. Now, I hope there would have been a link which would have been shared to you all, which is basically on what you would be seeing in the upcoming slides. I hope the screen is visible here. This is a Mycology data requisition form. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, Revadi.
Yes, sir. This is a requisition form which was taken from our own hospital-based practice, where various other patient requirements and samples. So this is what we are going to create in this section. So just a second. Just a minute.
इसको क्लोज करो।
Are my slides visible now?
Yes,
Yes,
Revadi,
yes, yes.
they are visible. You can click on slideshow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that interruption. So this is a Kobo toolbox, which is a paperless online come offline data collection method. So why do I call it so? Is that sometimes it happens where we have an interrupted network, or we might not be able to send the forms which we had already collected. So in that case, this offline data collection would be of much help. So about Kobo, since it is a paperless data collection, it is very handy to use. It is a very cost-effective method, and it doesn't require much sources. Like with the help of a link, you can share it with multiple co-investigators or with multiple field workers, and you can share those collected information within a very short limited span of time. And it could be collected from various parts of the country. So in that way, it is a very handy tool. So what are the features of Kobo? Like it has three inbuilt functions, like there is a form builder, there is a collect data, and there is an analyze and manage data. So if you see on form builder, so we would be seeing here how to design forms quickly and easily, and how we can build different type of questions. And we will also be able to find out a method to do something called a skip logic, which we will see in the upcoming slides, and how to share it, and how to download the final collected data sheet. So this is a screen recorded video on how to start with Kobo. So I'm just playing it. So if we click on to the link, we get to the home page of Kobo Toolbox. And we need to click on the tab on Home. If we scroll a bit down, there is a provision of creating an account. It is better and advisable to create it in humanitarian organizations, as we have unlimited submissions, unlimited data storage, and unlimited projects could be made. So if we click on the tab on create an account, we automatically get a page like this, where some details on name, username, email, sector, gender, password would be asked for. Such details will have to be filled, and we have to click on the create account. Once you do that, you will be getting a mail where it states that activate this. So the username has been created already here as Mycology workshop. So we just need to activate the account. So if we click on the activation link, then we would be getting a page like this. Let's get started with Kobo. So this is how you would be creating an account with Kobo. So if we click on to the, yes. So now we have seen how to create an account with Kobo. Now we will see how to create a project. So as we had shared a link, we are going to convert the paper-based Mycology requisition form into a paperless collection method. So we are going to create a project by the name Mycology, and this is a video on it. So once when we log in, we will get this page where we have search projects for those projects which has already been here in this account. Then we have a list of projects. Like this is a new account, so I don't have any projects to show, but I can show you later in an example. Deployed means how many forms or links has been shared so far of the framed questionnaire. Then the draft which has been saved, and then we have a new icon here. So just click on the new and build from scratch. Also, we have other sources like importing an already made XLS form, which is a bit of complicated. So we're restricting to build from scratch. So if you click on, we have to enter the title name. So let's enter Mycology is a project name. Description is the requisition form. Then sector, which is mostly the health service and public health. Then we have the country, and then we'll just create a project. So now we can see that a project has been created with the name Mycology. Here we can see an icon called save. After each and every question is made, it has to be saved using this option. Then we have another empty tab appearing like the form is empty, and we have an option called add from library. Certain questions can be saved to library, which can be added later on. So I can show you an example as we start working. Then there is something called layout and settings, which we shall come once the form has been made. So yeah, so this is about creating a project. So now we will experience the designing data collection method, which is the actual one. So here we have basically made a Word document. So is the Word document visible?
Yes.
Yes. So here what we have done is we have taken all the questions or all the variables which we wanted to study or take. Like here we have the patient ID, then we have the date and time, the name of the referring doctor, and I have highlighted few things, that is the patient details in yellow, which means these are the ones which we are going to see how it works. Here, for example, if you take the patient ID, it is usually a number, say 001 or 002 or something like that. So the type of question would be a number. Like this thing will be decided by the inbuilt function of the Kobo, which I will be showing in the next slide. Date and time is basically recording the date, which is days, month, and year, and the time in minutes and hours. The name of the referring doctor, like suppose if you say Anuradha, it is a word. So it is basically a text type of question. On to the right hand, there is something called whether response is mandatorily required or not. So which means that if we want this response to be entered, only then after entering this response, it will skip to the next question. Suppose if the response is not made mandatory, then it will automatically go to the next question, even if the response to the previous is not filled. So if you go to this one, the gender, we have three options, and we want the person who's collecting data to choose one among that. So that comes under the question type of select one. Similarly, age is a number, address is a text, telephone number is a number. And now here comes the concept of skip logic. Here we have something called bed number and ward number. We want these two variables to be entered only when the response to the patient type is an IPD. Only for the IPD patients, we want the bed number and the ward name. Then we have sample details, like what type of sample, site of sampling, which is all basically a sentence and a word. So that comes under the text. And there is something called investigation requested. Sometimes you may require two options. Sometimes they may require 3 tests to be done. So that gives the provision of selecting many. So this basic understanding is required to go forward with the next video. Okay, now we move on to the video. So now let's start with building up the form. So from the mail, if you just click on the link, or you can also log in using the previous link which we had shared, we can see that there is a mycology workshop which is being displayed over here, and which wasn't there previously. There are options like we have edit, then there is something like tagging, that is making some important notes to this form by clicking over here. Then there is an option of sharing, which we will see it later. And then there is an option of cloning, which means sharing this form as such it is to our other friends and investigators, where they can, we are giving the permission to edit the form and they can deploy it as a new form. Then in the more actions, we can see that we can start deploying this project. Basically, we can start collecting the data with online and offline by deploying the link, which we would be seeing in the subsequent videos. Then we can replace the form by tagging many other forms of similar questions. There is an option of download, which would be coming at the end, and there is an option of deleting the project. So we have to start the form by clicking on the edit. Yeah. So now let's start with building up the. Yes. So let's refresh on this understanding. So as I said, the Kobo, when you click on the plus button, in the last video we had ended with the plus button. If you click on that button, you would be automatically viewing this type of screen, where you have so many options like select one, select many, text, number, and so on and so forth. The ones which I have highlighted in the red box are the ones which we are going to see in the next video. So let's start with typing the different questions. So all of us would have been familiar with this type of hands-on exercise. And here, let's try to practice only the highlighted questions, because others are the mere copy of the same. So here we have something on date and time, which is something different. So let's start with that. So here we can see a plus sign. Just click on that and write question number 2, the date and time of filling the requisition. So we click on the add question. It is a date and type of question. So we just click on the date and time and it appears. And to know whether this response is required or must or not, we can see a settings on the right hand side. Just click on that. There is a provision of a mandatory response. We have to just click yes to it. So it generally means that if you don't give an answer to this question, it will not move on to the next. So this question has been made mandatory and this has to be saved. Then there is a provision of deleting the question. If at all we want to get deleted, then it can be deleted. Then there is a question for duplication. So if we click on this similar type of question will appear. So there is a provision of adding the question to the library. So if we just click on this, then this question will, the small pop-up menu will appear stating that the question has been added to the library. So if you click on this add from library, we can see that there is this question has been added here. So the next one which we would like to do is on the patient details, which is a note type of question. So let's click on this plus sign again. And here we're simply typing it as patient details. So it is a note type of question, which means a basic information. So we are just clicking on the note and we are saving it. So the next question is on the name of the patient, which is a text type of question. For example, if it is Kamala, it is a word. If it is Leela, it is a word. So we just started with the name of the patient, which is a text type of question. So we click on the text here and we save. And this question is a mandatory one. So we're clicking on mandatory and yes. So the next question is the age of the patient, which is basically numbers. And this also is a mandatory one. So we click here as question number 4.3, age, which is a number. And we are showing it as a mandatory response and we are saving. So the next question is the patient type, where we have to select one of the responses, either OPD or IPD, and this also is a mandatory one. So question 4.6, type of patient. We have to select one response, selecting one. So we write here as OPD and here as IPD. So there is a pop-up on the right side telling the XML value. It's basically when we download the entire data of whatever we have collected, it will appear in the Excel format, and these responses sometimes tend to be taken automatically, or sometimes it will be taken in the very strict way in which we want to take it. So if at all we wanted to take it in our option, then we have to copy paste the same options to the right hand side. Otherwise, it will tend to generate an automatic response. So this question is also a mandatory one. Hence, I'm clicking on mandatory. And the next is a very important step, which is the bed number of patient. And this is a number-based question required only if the response to the patient type is IPD. And this is not a mandatory response. So question 4.7, which is the bed number, and this is not a mandatory one. So it is a number-based question, and this is required. So only when the previous question is an IPD. So click on the skip logic here. Automatically, there will be an add a condition menu appearing. Click on that, and we have to select which question, the type of patient, and the response is IPD, so that it will appear only when the answer is given as an IPD. So once these are the different ones which we wanted to try, remaining is almost a replication of the ones which we had shown. So once this is done, we save it all together, and we have to preview it to see whether it is right or not. So just click on the preview one, and we can see that how the question would be appearing. Like the mycology, the theme of the project, date and time of filling the requisition, the name of the patient, the age of the patient, and type of patient. So you can see here, if the star symbol near the question indicates that it is a mandatory response. So if you click on OPD, there is no further pop-up. But if we click on IPD, we can say a non-mandatory question, which is a bed number. So this is how a skip logic will work. And you can see how does the date and time question look like, and how does the text appear, like name, how does number appear. Numbers can be increased as 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So this is how the preview would appear in the final collection. So if you click on the layout and settings here, there are different forms. Metadata means when we download the Excel, as I said previously, at the end following data collection, it will project the time which this data has been collected, like the start time and the end time, when the person has assessed this form and when he has completed it. So there are other things also, like we can also give the other things like to include the username and so on. So the description is here, and this is a simple setting. So in what style do we want? The one which you had previewed is a single page, but there are different ones, like we have a grid theme. Suppose if you click on the grid theme, and if you save it, and if you preview, it will appear as like this. So we can change it in whichever form we want. Like I'm keeping it default, but you can change it in whichever format you wish to. So once this is done, this is the purpose of the preview, and this is the purpose of the layout and setting. So once this is done, the entire questionnaire has to be saved, and it is ready to get imported. So this is in short about how to design the questions. So now we have seen that having saved all the different questions, I have shown you only a few of the questions which requires different type of framing them. But the link which has been shared contains the entire questions. All the questions of the sample details are also included in it. Now, once the form is ready, it can be deployed. Deployed means that I'm going to share this form with the other stakeholders or the other co-investigators. So how do we share the form? So now we will see how to share the project. So when you log into your account, we have to click on the
project Mycology, and we can see that there is a sharing symbol here. Just click on that, and we can share it to any user. For example, if I have to share it with my colleague, I just have to type their username of Kobo, and we can grant them some permissions, like permission to edit and permission to view and delete the project. And then we have to click on the grant permission. So we can see that the user whom we had shared, they have access to add submission, edit, delete, and view. So this is how we share the project with the other co-investigators.
So having completed now how to form the questionnaire and how to design it using Kobo and how to share. So now we are ready to collect data. So this data collection, as I said, the advantage of Kobo is we can do it online. That is when we have an active internet connection, and we can do it offline also. That is basically we will save the form. And whenever there is an access to internet, then we can send all the finalized forms. So what do you prerequisite, like what do you need for this is basically your phones. So now being an era of Android phone users, so what we do is that we will share the link, as I said, through the mail or through the WhatsApp, or they can download an app, which is a Kobo Collect app, which is available in the Play Store. And through that, they can collect all the forms and they can send it later. So that is a short description about both the methods. Now, this will show you about the online deploying of the questionnaire.
Actually, I have already deployed the form in the practice videos. So it is popping it out as this form has already been deployed. So if at all we have made any changes to the previous version, we can save it and we can deploy it again. That is what it means. So once it has been redeployed, the changes which had been done in the previous version cannot be retrieved back. So now it is being deployed, and we can see that it is appearing in the left hand corner as redeployed form. So in the collect data menu, there are several drop down menus, like whether we want an online as well as offline submission, or whether we want only online submission, as in the case when we are in a government office, or say we are somewhere in the field and we need to collect all the data and we need to enter it then and there. And if you're having a good access to the computer and network services, then we can enter at a stretch in an online mode. So this is an online only. Suppose if a single person is entering from the field and sending it all at a time, it is a single submission. Suppose there are 5-6 people who are in the field and they are at different counters and different people are sending different chunks of information, it becomes online only multiple submission. So here I'm clicking on online offline multiple submission and I'm clicking on copy, which means a link has been created. Now I can share this link in any online modes of data collection like email or WhatsApp, and we can disseminate it to different colleagues or different co-investigators. Like for example, if I'm trying to share this to different people, I just have to paste the link over here. So now the link has been created and it can be sent to different people through mail. Similarly, it can be done in offline also.
Okay, so that was in short about the online data collection. The offline data collection, there is no videos in it. Like I have just taken a few of the screenshots and we would be seeing that. So in your Play Store, there is a provision of search where we can type Kobo Collect. So once when we download that app and if you open it, we can see the first screen or the home page, which shows information like fill blank form, edit form, and so many other things. So the purpose of offline is that the link cannot be used using an internet. So now we need to share that link using a server, and that has to be incorporated into this app. So how do we do that? So you could see 3 dots which appear on the right hand upper end. So we need to click on that. So here we can see that a small window popping up with about general setting and admin setting. So we need to click on the general settings here. And if we click on the general settings, we have an option called server. So we need to click on that. So in the very first slide, while creating an account, we had seen a humanitarian response and we had seen the researcher's aid. So in the humanitarian response, what simply we have to do is, for both the users, being it humanitarian or researchers, the common link which would be appearing under the URL is this kc.kobo toolbox. So when you are using an account from a humanitarian response, we simply need to edit that link as shown in the red box. If you're using the account from the researcher's aid, then we simply need to replace that demouser with the exact username of the current project. So here our username of this project is Mycology workshop. So you need to replace this. So once when you replace that URL link, automatically it will get back to your home page where you have to click on the get blank form. So when we click on the get blank form, then you can see a project like Mycology that appears. So you just have to click on that and click on the get selected. And then we can start with the data collection with the fill blank form. So once when you click on the fill blank form, like on the very first end, I had shown how exactly the form appears with patient details, with sample details and so on. So we need to fill in all the details and then we need to save form and exit. Now I have chosen this option because let us assume that we don't have an internet. So let us save the form and exit as of now. So once when you do that, you can see that initial homepage which was appearing blank, and now you can see the homepage which shows one edit saved form and one send finalized form. So now what we do is that we will click on the send finalized form and then we will send selected once when there is an access to internet. So now we can see that automatically that page that was 1 before, that has become like view send form 1. So now you can see the server which was initially appearing violet and now appearing green, which indicates that the form has been sent. So you will automatically get a thing like this showing that Mycology successful submission. So now having done with collection of data, we need to do a quick review on how to analyze and manage the data. So what will we be seeing in the upcoming 3-4 slides is that create summary reports with graphs and tables and how to visualize the data and how we can export it for further analysis using softwares. So here is a short video on this.
So if you log into the project, we can see something called data. If we click on the data, towards the left hand corner, we can see a table, which simply means that whatever submissions have been made, it has been put in the format of a table. So as we had given permission to different investigators for editing and deletion of submission, we can click on to one particular submission like this and we can delete it or we can edit it. For example, if I've clicked on this submission and if I click on edit, then that particular form appears where I can edit the information and then I can submit it. So in this way, we can edit a number of response we want, or we can even delete that particular submission. The second thing is reports. So Kobo has a provision of doing a very simple descriptive analysis of the data. Like it can, for example, give you the distribution of males and females in this entire submission, and it can give you the mean of age, and it can give you a number of samples which has been received and what type of sample we have received as frequency, percentage, and so on. There is a provision of gallery there is no use of this in this particular form because we have not taken any photographs or we have not uploaded any such. So if we click on downloads, then we can see that the format of download which we wanted to. XLS is a simple Excel format or CSV is a comma separated file. So whichever we want, we can click on that option, and then there is a provision of the way we would like to download, as labels itself or as the XML values and headers. So if you click on labels and if you click on export, it will come under the export as this, and then we'll have to click on that. So if you view the different downloads, we can see that the Mycology version has been downloaded. So if you open this, we can see the different information which is being downloaded in the Excel format. So this. So
I am pausing the video there. At the end of this, I shall show you how does it appear in the XLS. So I hope my Excel sheet is visible. Is it visible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So all the collected information has been entered here automatically and it has been downloaded. We can see that when the form has been deployed and when it has been submitted, and we can see the different patient IDs, date and time, and all the information over here. So yeah. So as I said, we have tried our best to give you a very a very experience of having a hands-on training on Kobo, but this would be further enhanced only with interest and practice. So this is just a link, or we would say it's just a thing which has to be built on further. So to summarize this session, like we had seen basically to build the forms in Kobo and how to share it and how to export the Excel. And
so if we click on to the
and how to collect the data both in online as well as in the offline mode. And also to analyze the data in a very short descriptive manner using the Kobo itself, and also to download it, and we can enhance it further with the other softwares. So this is in short about Kobo. And I would like to thank my moderator, Dr. Abhijit sir, and also microbiology department and the organizer, Dr. Karuna ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to present. And for any further queries, you can just contact us through the chat box. Thank you.